Learning skills is probably more important than increasing your income in 2026. And the biggest reason why this is because your skills from what you learn now or the skills you have now determine the max income that you can get.
My friends, my family, they're all telling me to go to college, especially my mom. She was like the one pushing me. But to me, it didn't make sense, right? I was like, well, I want to be a doctor. I don't want to be like an engineer. I want to be something, with my entire heart.
You don't learn how to run a business for yourself in college, you learn how to run a business for someone else. And that's not the way to get the kind of money that most of us want. If you get the opportunity to work for cheaper for someone who is running their own business and learn from them, it's probably better to do that and earn 16 an hour than it is to work for someone else where you won't learn how to run your own business in the future for $30 or $40 an hour.
Let's go. Yes, sir. Give me a sec. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, you scratched it all rough. Or I tend to have the effect.
Learning skills is probably more important than increasing your income in 2026. And the biggest reason why this is because your skills from what you learn now or the skills you have now determine the max income that you can get. So if you don't have any skills, if you don't have marketing, sales skills, you're basically stuck with fast food worker or go to college for your two options.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people, struggle with this because you have the college kids, right? That are being peer pressured into starting college or getting into debt to do something that they're not even sure about. And I remember after I graduated high school, which I barely did, honestly. Well, I was thinking, I was like, my friends, my family, they're all telling me to go to college, especially my mom. She was like the one pushing me. But to me, it didn't make sense, right? I was like, well, I want to be a doctor. I don't want to be like an engineer. I want to be something, with my entire heart. I thought it would be cool to be something within those careers, but I wasn't sure about. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do now, because to me it didn't make sense just to go in debt. I was like, well, let me start with the workforce, and I think I started doing a job which was like manufacturing, and through there I learned like, oh, this is how the job is, like the day-to-day basic, like clocking in, clocking out, and keeping your timesheets and stuff like that. That's where I learned that, and I was like, all right, well, now at least know I don't want to do manufacturing, right? I want to work at plants basically. And so then I started jumping in between jobs, and just to make the long story short, since I did so many jobs, I kind of had a better idea of what the workforce looked like and what I actually wanted to do. And internally, I felt like I wanted something that was more a little bit like free or more independent. And that's when I found sales. And from there, I just love sales. Yes. I don't know, what was your...
I think for me it was very similar. I found it early on, but I didn't feel like going to school was my best bet because I knew I wanted to do something business related. And a lot of the time you don't learn how to run a business for yourself in college, you learn how to run a business for someone else. And that's not the way to get the kind of money that most of us want. And realizing that and going in, like, I found a sales job by strictly luck, and going into it I realized that I was going to college at the time, and I realized that was not the most productive path for me. I wanted to learn how to sell for my business, run my own business. And I think, and this might have been more helpful for you, but if you get the opportunity to work for cheaper for someone who is running their own business and learn from them, It's probably better to do that and earn 16 an hour than it is to work for someone else where you won't learn how to run your own business in the future for 30 or $40 an hour.
100%. Feel like your goal as well as mine is to eventually run a business, right? And I do that since I was, I don't know why, I must have been like 15, 14. I was like, I do want to do a business. I love the idea. Of course, it's going to be hard to execute it. And sales was a thing that's super necessary in order to have a successful business. You gotta have a successful sales team, speaking smart if your business does eventually grow. But even starting out, you knowing sales already puts you ahead of most business owners that don't actually know sales and they're just putting capital just to put a capital. And I think that's why I picked sales, because I was like, I want to do a business, right? So I want to make sure I have a skill that I can apply to when I'm ready to go for that risky move. I don't know if you feel the same way, or
I think
what your thoughts on that.
there are two skills that college won't teach you. That's how to run your own business and how to sell your product. And I think the best way to do that is to experience it yourself, or to learn from someone that already does it, which most of your college professors probably aren't doing either of those.
And that pisses me off so much. It's like you pay thousands of dollars to have an education and gain an experience and just have more inside knowledge. But that's what you're thinking, right? When you're enrolling in business economics, whatever. And then once you're there, you realize that the professor, well, one, doesn't have a business. Maybe had a side hustle, but not really a business. And then second, you realize he's just reading off a textbook. And people that I know that have business degrees have told me that. And man, that pisses me off, right? Because I mean, most of our tax dollars go to that. But anyways, I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead, man.
No. I think that's a really good point to make, because, and I've seen this a lot on videos that I watch from successful people like Alex Ramosi. You don't want to learn, or you don't want to take advice from someone who is not in a position where you would want to be. And I think not enough people realize that, and people are not picky enough to where they take advice from, or where they take knowledge from.
Right. I think that's super important as well. If you know that your college professor isn't the best in terms of, let's say, business-wise, he doesn't know the business, he doesn't have the extra experience, then you should know that theoretically, he's talking theoretically. Not so much experience, but just like whatever it says on the textbook. And then she's just sugarcoats it, makes it sound nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind. And this is like not just like college. I feel like with everyone, I've gotten advice from people that, especially on got an F-full car with that. I've gotten advice from people that like estimate me very highly or respect very highly. But when it comes to money, for example, it's not the best advice. And I don't think you don't have to be rude about it or anything like that, but just acknowledge it and, just tell them that, hey, I appreciate the advice.
I think there's a few important ways that you can get knowledge that you won't get otherwise, whether you want to start a business or whether you want to increase your income. For me, I think way number one, look up high income skills. If you look it up on TikTok or on YouTube, you'll find a lot of videos on what these high income skills can be, whether it be sales, marketing is super good. Do you know what copywriting basically writing copy for emails, which is the verbiage that it uses to generate leads?
I just call it sales but in red.
Yeah, lead generation is very important. I think these are skill sets that help you run a business. I think that's what one person needs, that and product knowledge of the field that you're in.
I think it'd be good if we give another example that's not business.
Yeah. I think sales is good. Whether you want to be in business or not, all of these are high income skills. six figures from 100,000 to $1 million on the high end that you can make a year.
You're making $1 million in a year.
Marketing, you don't deal with rejection in marketing. I think the most difficult thing you can deal with is having a micromanager, and even that, like, sometimes you won't feel as bad about it. But marketing people make a lot of money. I guess copywriting is better for starting your own business, but that's another high income skill you can learn. I think all of those can be applied to going to work. Do you have anything or is there any other high income skills that you know of that we didn't mention?
I think there's so many. I think it comes down to niche, right? If you're good at, let's say, riding motorcycles, right? Then you'd probably be good at, like, probably teaching it, right? Because you know how to do it. If you're good at flying planes, like your friend that he's getting his license as a pilot, that's another high income skill. They're getting paid upwards of like 200K, 300K. What's your a captain?
And when you learn to teach these, when you have those communication skills to teach someone, you can monetize anything you know.
Exactly. Like, for example, like gym trainers, even people are super good at the gym. People love going to the gym. There's people that really enjoy being at the gym. I'm not one of those. I just go just to work out. But there's like people that do like being or enjoy being there, and eventually they do turn it around and start teaching people and start making money off, their passion. There's many themes. I think it comes down to what your skills are and what you like as a person. Is there any other that?
Yeah, I think a second way to get these high income skills and learn what you want to do or where you want to be is to get a mentor. I think that's very important, and I don't know if we've been lucky enough to have a mentor in our lives that is where we want to be. But if you're able to get someone and take advice from someone who is in a position where you desire to be, it is easier to retain that as opposed to taking advice from your family that maybe isn't in the best place or in a place where you want to be, because a lot of the times they will tell you to be or to not take the risk, and a lot of the times that's not the right decision to make if you have a certain goal. But if you have a mentor that's been there, that's done it, you know exactly how to go about it. Work for them for free and find the best way to contribute to them and not just have them contribute to you, because I think that's when they will be happier to share the secrets or share the knowledge that they've learned to put you where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's basic, human understanding, right? If I give you something, you're naturally gonna wanna, match it or give me something back. So if you want something from someone, then give them something in the first place, and don't just give it to them expecting something back. If they don't give you anything back, that's fine, like, move on. Like, don't expect something back. But I think that pretty much summarizes our video pretty well. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think we just would want to challenge you to do one of those things. Learn a new skill, a high income skill that you can monetize, or try finding a mentor, someone that can help you get to where you want to be. And if you've ran into a lot of failure or you're scared of it, we just recorded a video on how we overcame failure or how we used that to learn, and we're going to put it right here to watch it. So go watch that next.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next week.